I'm using my camera, or there is.
I think for the maybe. Sorry, Marco.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if I know how it. Czekaj, ale ona jest tu. Jak to jest? Jak to idzie? To trzeba włożyć do Marko.
Maybe, yeah.
Ale to nie powinno mieć związku. No ale to jest. A nie, powinno. No to jest. Tak. No i teraz. Sorry, ja też jest. I teraz ustawienia. Maybe can you go into settings and you can choose the other.
Okay.
How it.
I'm not familiar.
In the settings, not in Zoom, but in your computer. Yes, right. Your settings. Karolina, wiem. Oh, okay. And. Oh. Okay, I will call to IT support.
But it's okay. I think
but it's not. Oh, yeah, now it's more. Perfect. Okay. Przemek, może też się tak siądziesz, żebyśmy tak tłum robimy. Zrobimy tłum.
Zrobimy tłum, dobrze.
To jeżeli pan miał też głowę, po prostu je skręcił, bo to. No tak, bo to w tym czasie to. You have the slides? Or?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. In the beginning we start without, yes, and then just to introduce.
Oh yeah, of course,
why
yeah.
we are here, and
but
then.
I'm just wondering because now this camera is working, but I think I have to switch the camera because in Zoom it's still the same.
Jabra.
Jabra. All right.
Yes.
Danny, some of the guys didn't виждаш чуваш?
Я ви чувам и ви виждам.
Good morning, Marco.
Good morning.
She's like,
how are you?
Like Kirill. But not. Yeah. It's my Achilles. I hit my Achilles.
Wow.
I had
cycling.
Playing tennis.
Playing tennis. Oh. You'll be fine. You can play tennis afterwards, right?
I hope.
Yeah.
I mean, I will do. I have my
physiotherapy.
Yeah. Times a week, so I hope. Yes, but within a year.
Within a year. But when did you do that? Now
in September.
In September. Okay, for the spring you should be ready.
For spring, end of spring, I'll be ready for skiing. Then for running, I will be ready during the holidays. And then in autumn, because tennis is like, you know.
I know. I used to play, but my problem with tennis is I left the right eye. Actually, I hit what they call it macula. This is a small particle in your eye which is responsible for the central vision.
Okay.
So I played football. The ball hit me, and yeah. So now I cannot. I have the full vision except for the central vision with the right eye. And when playing tennis, you need your eyes, so you can adjust to the ball. And I stopped because I couldn't. I was either too late or too early to the ball. And I just threw my racket. So you'll be fine.
Yes, I hope. And they say that I'll have, I might be afraid to play again, not to do it
a little
again.
bit. You start slowly and.
I told you that the Achilles is even more stable and strong after.
It is. Yeah, after the surgery.
Yeah. Okay, I will. Karolina will invite maybe everyone, and then
yes, you of course.
Be the host of the rest of the meeting. Okay, I will.
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay.
So you'll be good for the ski, yeah.
But not because there's a winter holidays in February.
I see.
I will be, I will not ski, and we have already booked. We are going to Livigno. But then we have a nice hotel with the spa and pool. I can walk, so I'll be walking.
Everybody else will be skiing, but no, thanks. If there is a
and
good
it's
spa,
Livigno, good shops,
It won't be a waste.
Yes,
for sure. I don't know. I'm not skiing, so for me, winter is really a bad period. I never learned how to. My kids ski though.
Więc ja tu mogę uzupełnić, więc ile mam? Może się
Share the screen. Well, I'm Marco, nice meeting you. I'm trying to figure out how to share. February, the week of vacation.
I mean, it's January, February, depends on which region of Poland you live in.
Oh, really?
Yes, because, I mean, it used to be that there were only 2 weeks for the whole Poland,
Yeah.
but it was so crowded,
everybody's- Yeah.
so they split.
Yeah,
I
like in
think,
Germany,
Yeah.
pretty much the same. Yeah, because there's a lot of people and out here it's all the same.
so I think there are 3 slots, or maybe even 4 slots for 2 weeks, beginning from January.
And it's
ending-
regionalized.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's much easier this way. I was always thinking, why do they do that in Germany? Like, this town or this region has, vacation these weeks and then the other. But yeah, when you have so many people that have to go to.
So is anyone online or
It's only the needs, huh? Yeah.
Because Katarzyna from NFOS,
She's coming or she
she
was.
will be delayed a bit, but she will join. But we can start.
Yeah.
And she will.
I mean, it's done, maybe we can wait 5 minutes.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
We can.
Usually, this is the time I'm looking for the link.
Yeah, exactly. When it starts. And this is Zoom. We don't usually use Zoom, to be honest. But
We also
Okay.
do it.
Teams.
Maybe.
Yeah. But
So why did you choose Zoom?
it was a decision made by Denise and Kirill, who are actually the people behind this project. I just participated in the first phase when they started setting up the project. I was negotiating with the partners, drafted the proposal, but then I had other things to work on, and Denise and Kirill took over. And now because Kirill had this issue with the knee, I get to play things.
Another me.
And they said,
And
yeah,
this
you
is
have
the
to.
different knee he did when we did Finalgodon, right?
It's not, I mean, the knee is the
The same.
core problem, but then because he was sleeping for a long time, and then his hip, the hip of the other leg,
Leg.
actually, had issues, so he had to undergo another surgery. So,
Someone.
yeah, that's probably.
Because this is not the Kirill I'm talking about.
No, that's him. That's him.
Okay.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, loud and clear.
All right.
Great.
We have to change the cursor out to audio.
Could you repeat?
If you can hear us,
Say something.
Yeah, I can hear you very well.
Perfect.
Now we also hear you. Well. The weather in Zaria is better now?
To be honest, this week was perfect.
Yeah.
The weather in Bulgaria, yeah, it was sunny and around, I don't know, how many degrees is today in Sofia? Yesterday it was like 15, 16 degrees
Oh.
and very sunny. But the forecast for the weekend is to be like here. That's the type of weather I really hate. I mean, if it's snowing, let it
It's okay,
snow.
yeah.
last week we had snow already.
You had, oh no, we had like 2 times already in Bulgaria, but it's melting away and
Yeah.
within the day it's going. But at least in the mountains, it was very dry 2 years. In Bulgaria, in Greece also, because I'm spending about 2 months a summer in Greece, and the last two summers were extremely dry. So hopefully it will be raining this year. Yes, Bulgaria had a lot of issues with the water supply this summer. Oh, yeah, there's regions get cut off of the water supply in August, and then September, October. It's scary.
Last years, I remember we had also issues that they forbid to
For people to water the
gardens.
Yeah, the gardens. Same. Hopefully, it will be better this winter. It was extremely dry. Like we started, especially this year in Bulgaria, the summer came like late April. The temperatures hit around 30 already in the end of April, and it stayed like this throughout the whole summer.
Oh.
So no rain in the spring, nothing. So it's really scary. It's getting really scary. But then I wanted to. Do you have the Christmas markets already set up or
I
not?
think
yet?
it's from 1st December.
Next
or
week.
6th
All right.
December.
all right. I was hoping to take a walk.
Are you coming back today?
Tomorrow morning. I didn't have a convenient flight, to be honest. I mean, there was an option to fly from here to Munich and then to Sofia, but I would have arrived at 10 or 11 in the evening, so I decided.
Is there no direct flight?
There are 2 direct flights a day, but the second one is actually around 2 p.m. So yeah, it was too early. The first one is in the morning, 11. So I'm taking the first flight.
Mhm.
To the Christmas market.
Yeah. But my daughter just went to for a school trip to Salzburg. And
Aha.
there is one.
There
I mean,
is-
they went to see it.
Yeah. They start in Austria. They start like in late November, 27, 26th of November. They start and they close on the 24th. So on the Christmas Eve, they stop. And because we'll be in Vienna, there is a concert that I wanted to see all my life. This is the New Year's concert
Ah, yes.
at the Vienna Philharmonic. So finally, we got tickets.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I
It's a
tried to
lottery.
get, it's a lottery.
It's a lottery, yeah.
You won in the lottery?
After 8 years, yeah.
Okay,
8 or 9.
I started after, I stopped after 5.
Yeah, so you have to be persistent.
Okay, good to know.
So yeah, and we'll be taking 2 of our kids with us.
Mhm.
And I was hoping that there will be the Christmas markets, but no, they shut down on 24th. Yeah, so I remember when the first consortium meeting or the second one
Yes,
was in Vienna. That was around Christmas time.
Yes.
So
I don't know.
No. It's beautiful, but yeah. You want to see them. We're taking the younger ones. They prefer to go to the brother, I guess. They'll be fine.
It's 10 past, so I think
We can
start.
start. All right. We don't have much people online. We had some registrations. I guess we can start. And
Maybe they will go later.
not wait. Yeah. No, to be honest, this morning one of the registries called me. It's an Austrian partner of ours, but I told them we'll start at 10. They were asking, maybe they will join. Anyway, right, so yeah, thanks for hosting us. Today it is very important for us to first be able to come here to tell you about this SER project, the Social Energy Renovations Project, and eventually discuss the opportunities for replication in Poland. But really, I highly appreciate the fact that you're here to have me here today and have this discussion. I'll run through some slides later on, but and if you want to formally open the discussion, and really.
It's around for
A lot of thanks for you. Yeah, no, for Anna, for you, for
kind
your
of
team.
sister projects because we started in June a project on one-stop shop, and it's also on buildings.
All right, good.
I mentioned the APC facilitator.
It's the DPC facilitator.
It's
So,
a
all right.
facilitator, and it's coupled together with a law firm.
With the law firm.
Because, to facilitate, and in public buildings, to facilitate EPC energy performance contracts in public buildings, well, we think, and the market is
All right,
Also-
so we,
that there is need for a facilitator, and we are setting up.
so it's one-stop shop specifically for public
Yes,
buildings.
yes.
All right,
Yes.
and it's a regional thing, like you setting up multiple one-stop
No,
shops or one?
it's a nationwide.
Aha, so it will be based in here
Actually,
in
it will be based here in.
Aha,
Warsaw.
you are hosting
I mean,
it.
Here and there, I mean, it's.
Yeah.
Because once it's, well, I would not say it's a virtual one, but you don't have to have, I mean, premises
yeah.
that people come and
No, especially for the public sector.
Exactly.
Yeah.
so
And is it something that has to do with the recovery and resilience plan? Or because in Bulgaria, our recovery and resilience plan, it's linked to some reforms. And one of the reform was setting up 6 one-stop shops, regional ones, but it's one-stop shops for the residential building sector. So that was a mandatory thing to do so that Bulgaria can unlock some funding from the.
okay, no, this is
This
not
is
the case.
This is your
Ah.
initiative.
Our initiative after Finergodom.
Yeah.
Yes, because within Finergodom in the National Fund, there was an EPC program for financing. I mean, this was more residential, not the public.
Yeah.
But then after Finergo, they did the second round, including public buildings. And that's why we submitted to live project, because those Horizon 2020 non-investment projects.
Yeah, they
now
became
do
Life Europe. Yeah.
So we submitted the proposal together with the Cieślak law firm, and we were awarded the contract. And now we are setting up
This one-stop.
this one-stop shop, and it's nationwide because, well, one of the projects that actually did not come to all for the moment is in Szczecin, which is another part of Poland.
All right. So actually, you are already building a pipeline.
Yes.
Of projects do you have like a firm number of projects that you have to arrange and originate?
Well, we promised to do 4 model cases, like a hybrid one for energy management, one bigger, one smaller, because these are a little bit different projects.
To test
They
different
differ
scenarios.
different scenarios, and at the end of the project, within 3 years, we promise to have a pipeline of 100 projects.
Ooh.
Well, we have to.
That's ambitious. I mean, yeah, yeah,
We
yeah,
have to
yeah.
be ambitious in
That's-
order to get funds.
That's
yes.
quite ambitious. And are you linking with some financing institutions also?
Was with the national
With
funds,
the
because
NFOSIGW.
the EPC programs that was initiated in Finergodon.
Yes, it is there. Yeah, yeah.
It's there,
It's
and we
there.
hope for third round.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you'll be
Actually-
linking, actually coordinating the municipalities with the EPC contractors, with
Exactly.
NFOSIGW.
Exactly, with the push or other sources.
Oh, yeah,
because,
of
you know,
course, of course.
The ED
Okay.
directive forces.
Now it's ESCO first, yeah,
Yeah.
municipal, so hopefully, it's not working well in Bulgaria, unfortunately.
It's not working
ESCO-
Poland.
Yeah, but that's because of the competition of grants, I assume. It's,
Exactly. Exactly.
That's why after Finergo, we had such recommendations to focus on public buildings because for the residential, we have another competitive, very well-known and long-lasting program,
Which is grant
which is
based.
much more
Yes.
attractive for beneficiaries.
No, it's same case in Bulgaria. There was under the Recovery and Resilience Facility. There was 2 rounds of funding residential renovations. The first round was again 100% grant. Crazy.
Crazy.
And then, you know, and the whole community, the whole professional community was pushing the ministries and the government towards, you know, let us at least include some portion of co-funding. So the second round was 20% equity stake from the borrowers, from the owners, and 80% grant. And then it was Kirill who worked with the Ministry of Regional Development to set up an ESCO scheme so that this 20% can come not from the owners themselves, but from ESCO companies. And it was approved by the ministry, but then there was very low interest because people knew that there was 100% grant before, and they said, "Oh, probably the government will change concept and will go back to 100%." So even with 20%, when people know that there is grants, they don't. It's a huge tragedy for the ESCO sector in Bulgaria. And there is, of course, populist politics that say, "Oh, we have to provide it free for the people. They don't have money. People are poor." So yeah.
Similar situation. And then, well, we faced that with the conversations that, well, okay, but we know that there will be subsidies. So
Exactly. Why put our money at risk when we can just wait for no, that's amazing.
Yeah, so I mean, your project is also of our interest. I've read that it's dealing with the more social.
It is for the social infrastructure. Yeah. This the SEP project. Actually, I can put some slides here. Just let me see. Yeah. Because I don't know how to put it on full screen. Yeah. This maybe it will work in Zoom. Yeah. So yeah, it is called SEV, the social energy revolution, as we call it. It's renovations otherwise. It was the overall concept was conceived during the COVID times when we were locked in. I remember I met with some of the partners there. The focus country is Italy, and in Italy they have a lot of social organizations which are rendering social services to different strata of the population, different beneficiaries, and because they knew that the social organizations, they call it the third sector organizations, which is, in Bulgaria, we only have NGOs and NPOs, non-profit organizations, but they have plenty of social foundations, associations, cooperatives, and whatnot. And overall, in Europe, that was a huge surprise to me. Like 13% of the workforce in the European Union is actually working in the third sector, in the non-profit sector. It's 28 million people working in this sector. The partners decided that these are organizations that really fail to access adequate funding for energy efficiency. I mean, they operate and manage a huge amount of buildings, but because of their business model is very weak, their cash flows are weak, the income sources are not very well structured, so the banks, the conventional lending authority, the conventional lending institutions are perceiving these organizations as high risk.
But do they own the buildings?
Well, in most of the cases, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. In most of the cases, they do in Italy. But yeah, because they're very fragmented type of, there's associations, there's social housing, there is dormitories for vulnerable people, there's cultural organizations, a lot of religious affiliated with the Catholic Church in Italy. So it's really fragmented sector. So the banks are, and then all these organizations, they mostly rely on donations, on some grants, some governmental support. They don't generate their own revenues or not in a sufficient amount, so they're not bankable. But there's many people working there. There's much more that are benefiting from their services. So the social impact should be huge. And the CERT project actually was focusing on unlocking eventually private capital for such projects. Now, let me just show you so the core country was Italy, because the originators of the projects were mostly Italian companies and organizations, plus one Spanish, which is owned by Italians. So these people are, very well versed in the ESCO model. I don't know if you have worked with Genie Finance.
Yeah.
No?
We have,
Oh, you did? No?
we have them in one project.
Okay, yeah.
This is-
So the management is Italian. They're based out of Barcelona. And these guys are really knowledgeable about the EPC and the ESCO. Actually, the founders of the company used to work for the biggest ESCO in Spain. So they were actually they undertook the initiative to link with Fratello Sole. Fratello Sole is a huge organization, actually a part of a huge ecosystem which is running a lot of social buildings. They have a huge portfolio of over 200 buildings only in one region. They have only I think 315, something like this. Buildings. Then Enea, the energy agency of Italy, also joined. Poli, the Politecnico di Milano, the university is also part. CGM Finance is the financial arm, the corporate finance arm, again, a huge network, a social financial network in Italy. And then there is us, Econolaire, the Bulgarian entity of Econolaire, and Secours Catholique in France, who joined as replication partners. So the overall idea was to set up, well, initially we started with the idea of setting up a financial tool for third sector organizations. But at some point it became clear that it is impossible to structure a uniform financial tool for this organization. So we renegotiated with the European Union, with the agency, to shift a little bit the focus of this project, and it became a project on setting up a boutique, actually one-stop shop, which is rendering technical, financial, and social impact assessment services for third sector organizations, for social enterprises. So yeah, it started there. It started in Italy. The overall idea was actually to bring together the third sector. Can I remove? Or it's okay. It's not visible. I have something on my screen, but thankfully it's it's not visible.
For the online.
Yeah, no, it says test the subtitles, but I won't test the subtitles. Okay. So yeah, the overall idea was, okay, we know that there is a huge amount of buildings, but these organizations that are owning and managing them have no access to adequate financing, and most of those buildings are in really poor condition. And the energy consumption is much higher than the national averages. On the other hand, there is an abundance of social impact investors, especially in Italy. Not that much so in Bulgaria, unfortunately. But in Italy, they have a really huge ecosystem of organizations that are supporting either regional entities or local entities or social entities. So, there was a need of bridging, of connecting these two sides so that the social enterprises can access financing for their renovation projects, and social impact investors can tap into a vast pipeline of projects. So that was pretty much the idea. I told you we wanted to structure a financial tool so that the SER was supposed to be a kind of a financial institution, but it quickly became, because the colleagues in Italy, they started reaching out to different stakeholders, so to third sector organizations, to financial institutions, to religious organizations also, to figure out what type of financial instrument will be most effective. Unfortunately, it quickly became clear that it cannot work as a financial institution, but that there is a need for an entity to help these third sector organizations structure their projects, and then coordinate the implementation of the projects as well, tap into the existing financing facilities, figure out how to lower the risks, because there is also a lot of risk sharing instruments, and eventually help the social impact investors to identify these projects.
I have a question.
Of course, yeah.
We have much experience with banks and funds thinking about funding ESCO projects. So the question is, you said that these institutions are not, project institutions are not bankable.
Yeah.
So what is the idea to get the interest of banks if they are not bankable? What is the difference? How to?
That's a good question. We'll come to this point a little bit later. But generally, the idea of this one-stop shop is to screen the market for all possible funding sources first, so that if we have an investment project of 1 million euros, there is probably grants that can cover 40 to 50% of this money. So the first thing that the SER Hub, which is this one-stop shop, does is to figure out what are the potential sources of grant funding to lower the loan amount. Then, for different type of projects, they select different types of financing. So they can approach banks, but they can also approach crowdfunding platforms. You see this. They can approach specialized debt firms. They can approach specialized impact investors. So the overall idea is to really screen the market and financially structure the project in a way that will become financially appealing for lenders or for financiers. Now, in Italy, they have a huge advantage, at least as compared to Bulgaria, but I'm pretty sure as compared to Poland as well. They have this super bonus, the fiscal scheme. I don't know if you're familiar with the super bonus scheme, but this is a tax deduction or tax rebate scheme in which, if you perform energy renovation of a building, you can get tax deductions, tax rebates for up to 110% of the investment cost of the project over 5 years. So, I mean, 110% is the maximum
for institutions.
Yes. So including for third sector organizations. So it's much easier to use these future deductions to offset the financial risk of these projects. But there is also other sources of grant funding in Italy as well as in everywhere in the European Union. So the SERHub, what it does is screening the market, checking, I mean, of course, against the type of organization that wants to do a retrofit of a building. They screen the market, they say, okay, there is a grant here, and then we will help you to apply for this tax incentive, the super bonus scheme, and it will get you 70% rebate over 5 years. So you can use this money to repay the ESCO, for example. And then you will need only 30% market financing, and we will approach a bank. And we know that there is sources of guarantees, like there is a specialized guarantee funds. So they're approaching those guarantee funds to secure collateral for the remaining 30%.
Are you building in this energy savings in money, of course, element into this financial scheme?
Yes, that's also
And
being done.
The banks understand this?
Yeah, well, not all of them, of course. I just put it somewhere.
Okay,
Here.
okay, thank you. Sorry, for being
Welcome.
late.
Welcome. Can I pour some more?
Yes, sure.
Water? Or does it unscrew or what?
This is water only, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I have my pack here.
So you had grant, tax deduction, and
risk sharing
saving
instruments.
energies, and then the rest is
Yes.
relatively small. And
Yeah, that's the overall idea, actually. And that's why I mean, when we, not we, but yeah, when the Italian partners, when they figured out that they cannot act as a financial institution, they said, okay, it would be much more feasible and will be much more effective if we set it up as a one-stop shop, which provides this comprehensive service. So they provide. We'll see. I have slides on this. So yeah, they engage with a vast network of partners. So this SERHub, it is in it is a legal entity.
when is the beginning? I mean,
The overall idea is it's never ending.
The building,
But no, here.
I mean, the building. Or...
Yeah, it's just let me check. So it starts here with the SERHub founders. So the SERHub is this one-stop shop.
So you are looking for the organization and the building, and then
that's what they're doing. They're selecting projects because first, the Fratello Sole and their network, they're managing a lot of buildings. So they have a pipeline of many buildings anyway, but they're also partnering with a lot of other foundations or cooperatives or organizations that are managing social buildings as well. So they're responsible for identifying potentially eligible projects. Of course, they're providing all the advisory services. So they're providing technical advisory, they're providing financial advisory, and also social and environmental impact assessment of projects. Then they engage with technical partners. So there is, utilities or ESCO companies. Actually, Fratello Sole, within their group of organizations, they have set their own ESCO company, which is called Fratello Sole SE, I think. So this is the ESCO company that also cooperates with the SERHub, with this one-stop shop. So they have those technical partners that are doing technical energy audits, and of course they're doing the technical design of the project. And then they're partnering with construction companies as well. I mean, companies that are carrying out the actual the actual implementation of the works, the renovation works. And then they're partnering with different layers of financial institutions. So there is banks, cloud funding platforms, specialized debt funds. So these are the money lending institutions. Then they're partnering with guarantee providers, again, on different levels. So in Italy, you have guarantee providers on national level, targeting, for example, small organizations or third sector organizations, social enterprises. And then there is very regional providers of guarantees. Like
Can you tell something about this guarantee scheme, how it works? It's a guarantee for the financial institution?
yes, yeah. I'll tell you a little bit later about different types of guarantees. And also the SERHub also engages with equity investors. So those the social impact funds sometimes are providing equity when it comes to large scale projects. The SERHub is generally covering all type of needs that third sector organization might need. So it might be energy retrofit of a building. They are providing technical assistance, how to structure. They perform energy audits. They do the technical feasibility, the technical structuring, then for building renovation, and then they're structuring financially those projects. They're identifying sources of financing. They're coordinating the overall financing process and the overall actual implementation of the renovation work process as well. They also work with setting up energy communities. So in some instances, they're helping local stakeholders. Again, there has to be some social element, but they can enhance the creation of energy communities. They also support electrification of transport projects. And of course, they're providing comprehensive financial solutions. As I told you, they have a very vast network of financing partners. So now to facilitate their own work, the SERHub generally created three dedicated tools. So one's from the right to the left. So the first one is what they call the Service for Impact. This is an actual app, mobile app, developed by Enea, by the Italian Energy Agency, which is a tool that helps the SERHub and its beneficiaries do a pre-feasibility analysis of a project. It is pretty simple. You type in the key characteristics of a building, some energy bill information, the square meters, the mode of use of the building, and it calculates potential savings. It highlights the most financially feasible types of renovation works that can be underdone, and it calculates the current energy class of a building and the future, the perceived energy class after the renovation. So this is
what kind of energy they have? Gas?
Well, yes, electricity, gas, district heating.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty much. So yeah, of course it's built for Italy, so the energy classification is in the Italian, but it's not much different than it has some nuances, by the way, but it's not that different. For example, they have 4 classes of A. I don't know how it works in Poland, but in Bulgaria we have A and A+.
It's in progress here.
I still.
In progress.
So it will be updated now.
Yes.
Okay. So
We are working on it for the ministry,
All right, yeah, you have to.
among others.
But as of today, you have A and A+.
Well, for us for today, there's the energy performance certificate, and it's how do you call it? It's yes. There is no A, B, C, D. It's colors.
I see
Like
the
a
color,
scale.
yeah. But each color has a letter.
On the scale, the point.
Yeah, the point, but it's not A, B, C, D. It's like 90 kilowatts
Per square meter.
Yeah.
All right. And now you have to translate it into a letter system.
Yes,
All right. No, yeah, in Bulgaria it's ABCD, and A+ is close to zero. We consider A+ as a near zero consumption. But in Italy they have 4 classes of A. So you have A1 to A4, A4 being the highest. Then they created a second tool, which is this is an Excel-based tool, right, for impact. This is a tool that performs financial feasibility analysis.
Sorry, one point. This NR tool is open for everybody or just for your project?
Well, the service for impact is freely downloadable. Then the rent for impact, it's still internal, I think. Even we don't have access as replication partners. It's still being tested, I think. But it will be then opened. And then the CE for impact is a tool designed by the Politecnico di Milano, which is a tool. I have it. I can share it with you after this meeting today. It is a tool that is designed to carry out a social and environmental impact assessment of the projects. So yeah, we can see the service for impact is available on this Google Shop thing. And the C for impact is actually it is a spreadsheet. It's an Excel spreadsheet. The guys in Italy developed, and I can actually I'll show it in a bit. So that's pretty much how this the SER Hub is providing their technical assistance services, because they are rendering technical assistance and financial services. So the technical assistance is following a 5 steps approach. The first step is what they call the scouting. So this generally talking to partner organizations, foundations, cooperatives which own buildings that are due for energy renovation, and using the ENEA, the app, the service for impact app. They're performing a very quick technical feasibility analysis. Then they're moving on to what they call the feasibility phase. So the feasibility phase actually performs a detailed energy audit, and this is usually being funded by some social impact investor or some foundation in Italy that has a social aspect in their activities. So they're conducting the energy audit, and they also prepare preliminary economic and financial analysis, so that the respective their third sector organization can make an informed decision if they want to go forward with their project or not.
Is GNE involved in this stage?
Yes, yeah, pretty much.
I know they have, they know grants and things like that, and probably they know it in Italy.
They know it in Italy. They have a full mapping. They have done full mapping of all sources of funding.
Do they help with discussion between this organization and bank?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, this is happening on the next stage, which is called the design stage. So once a decision is being made, once the third sector organization says, "Okay, I will do the project," then the SER Hub and Genie Finance is partner there. It starts doing the actual design. So executive technical designs, developing a fully fledged business plan for the project, start approaching financial institutions which can provide the financing, start filling out grant applications, start filling out tax incentive applications. Again, in Italy, this tax incentive, the super bonus scheme, is a huge advantage. Unfortunately, we don't have it in Bulgaria, and there's very few actually countries that offer such generous tax incentive schemes.
All the time is within the grant, SER grant?
It's what?
All the time that they consume on this?
It's for the first 10 projects, yes. Then now they started, actually they have, I see it here on the next slide, we'll see they have found another grant money from a specialized foundation, which will cover another 50 projects, actually another 25 projects. It will be 50 that will be screened preliminarily, and then 25 of these will get the full service. So yeah, the SER Hub will be now tapping into different sources of grant money.
I'm asking because GNE is involved in this low to high, it's low temperature hit for district heating, Poland and Slovakia and Lithuania. And so they are planning to be involved in discussion between Polish financial institutions and district heating enterprises in Poland. So maybe it will be a little bit difficult for them comparing to Italy or Spain.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, they're very good on local level. But yeah,
For the moment, they made a wide review of possibilities in Poland that they say.
no, it's very hard. The Italian market is very saturated, but you know, it's saturated with opportunities. I mean, saturated with problems, of course, but also with opportunities. A lot of opportunities. Here in the the Eastern Central European market is a bit different than this. So, but I'm pretty sure they're very good. They have very good financiers. So potentially they will make it work, but it won't be easy for them. And I knowing the Polish market a little bit, I know, yeah, it won't be easy for them. But also, Chile Finance are now part of the consortium that is managing the European City Facility. I don't know if you, yeah. So they have gained some knowledge about the specifics of the market in Eastern Europe as well through this EUCF program. So I really like them. They're very good financiers. Really.
Thanks, guys.
I have I have a high opinion of them, and I'm not very generous in opinions.
And how long it takes from starting point to getting actor, more or less? It's a year or 3 years? Or...
Well, that's a question I'm afraid I don't have the right answer to. It's a fact that this is the 4th year of the SER project. So the first year and a half was not lost, but that was the time when we were thinking that we'll be setting up a financial institution. So since 2022, they actually started working on this concept as a one-stop shop, and it took a lot of time to set up the SER Hub, the one-stop shop, which was done in 2023, last year. And since it was established in 2023, we now have 10 projects that have been renovated already. So they have passed through the whole line, all the steps. So it is moving quickly. Of course, these were projects that were ripe for implementation already, but it's moving rather quickly. Yes.
What kind of, yeah, exactly. What kind of projects?
Let me show you. Let me. Okay, I will show you a little bit later. So yeah, this is the financial assistance. How they perceive and how they approach the financial assistance for such projects. So there was a lot of going back and forth between the SER Hub, the Genie Finance and their partners, the third sector organizations in Italy, and the financial providers in Italy. They did a lot of meetings, and they figured out that small scale projects should be directly offered to market lending. So directly offered to the banks. First, because some banks expressed interest to put little money aside and test social renovation market. I think now I'm going to lie if I say a name of a bank. It was probably Monte dei Paschi Siena or another bank which agreed to put up 10 million euros to set up a specific lending offering for such projects. So for small scale projects, the SER Hub identifies, of course, the grant schemes available, the tax incentives, and some guarantee funds that are available, and then they link the project to a bank.
And
what
part of the total cost of the project is from the bank?
It depends on the type of grants that are available. It depends on the amount of tax incentive, which this project would be entitled, but let's say it's around 70 to 80%
from the bank.
might be, yeah, offered to the bank, but then the bank will have a separate guarantee issued by a local guarantee fund or under the InvestEU, and then the bank will also have the super bonus tax rebates over 5 years, and then it will have the energy savings. So there is many layers of security for the banks.
But during the risk assessment on the bank side, what they see the more or less
They see it all. They see all the
20%
layers.
of the project, or
No.
because in our case the bank assessment is that they see 100% of the project. It doesn't matter whatever it's there in funding, grants, tax, whatever. They see always 100% or even more.
No, they will see the 100% investment cost that is needed to complete this project. But then the bank will know that they only have to provide 70% of this money because 30% will be covered by grants. And therefore, this 70% of the money, the bank has the tax rebates over 5 years. The bank has additional collateral in form of some sort of guarantee, which covers between 50 and 80% of the loan principal. And then it has the energy savings that will be generated.
And how they consider this as a risk or as a
Well, they consider it as a risk,
mitigation risk?
but now there's several banks that are agreeing to. It's a risk mitigations, of course. The tax rebate.
It's not, of course. For our banks, it's an additional risk.
Why not? It's like
Because,
you have here.
because they see performance risk from the ESCO company. So they say,
if you don't,
it's additional risk. Maybe the ESCO company can be excluded from the project or have the penalty.
that's why the bank is controlling the disbursement of the loan. I mean, they're not disbursing 100% of the loan.
I understand,
And
but they
on
don't.
ESCO, they check. I mean, you disburse a tranche of the loan, then you check if the work has been performed. So there is not much risk in.
It is strange, but it works like
But-
this.
Yeah, that's.
So I think we have to like for the next live call for the financial instruments, invite few banks to teach them.
In Poland, there is a Ministry of Finance, then banks, and then small, like me, like we. So I don't think it could be successful, but we
No, the
try.
Ministry of Finance have nothing to do with the banks anyway. I mean, there is a central bank and then there is a regulator.
I mean, public business they have because they have some.
But the Polish banks know how to finance green projects. Shannon, no, don't they? So,
Maybe yes.
I mean, there is now the InvestEU guarantees will kick in. Actually, they have started kicking in. So, and these are the largest Polish banks that are participating.
That's another problem that we don't have any guarantee fund for today for ESCO companies.
But under InvestEU, you can do ESCO guarantees.
Banks can.
Banks that are participating banks can do.
They don't want to. I don't know.
They
They
get
can.
80% under InvestEU. 80% of the loan is guaranteed for them. So it's a very small amount of risk that they're taking. And then you have InvestEU money, I assume, but you have InvestEU money provided through the European Investment Fund. And then there will be money from, again, under the InvestEU green guarantees of EBRD. So local banks, I don't know which, but the biggest ones will sign up to these green guarantees of the InvestEU. And we're talking about tens of or hundreds of millions of euros.
We plan to work on that during our project, but it is difficult.
No, this, I mean,
why, but-
if you want to secure bank financing for ESCOs, you should resort to the InvestEU guarantee. They have specific, I mean, InvestEU is a huge program of billions and billions, but they have green guarantees, which is specifically for, sustainable projects, all sorts of things. Green mobility, renovations, renewable energy projects, but also for ESCO, I'm pretty sure about this. ESCO companies can be eligible and EPC projects can be eligible. And it's 80, bank receives 80% guarantee that the money will be paid back. So, I mean, it's only 20% at risk. It's not.
Maybe we should, because we have a task in our project, that we see state of the art. We ask municipalities what's their knowledge about C contracts, and we ask financial sector. So maybe we should include EBRD as well, or.
Yeah, and by the way, InvestEU covers not only business loans, it covers loans to public entities. So municipalities are included. So there should be no.
There's a problem with that, so it doesn't work in Poland. Financing for
Financing to municipalities
institutions.
because they have limitations.
And they have the systems of reporting that this is the debt and they don't want. But
It's the same.
financing escrow is the issue.
It's the same, but yeah, I mean, they can either, the banks that are using InvestEU can either finance the escrow or the municipality. And it will be all the same eligible for the InvestEU program. Now, these are the guarantee mechanisms that the SERCOP is partnering with. So they're using, as I told you, different sources of the risk sharing instruments. So they're working with the public guarantees scheme in Italy. They have a huge, it's called the Italian SME Guarantee Fund. But apart from SMEs, this guarantee fund in Italy also provides either direct guarantees or counter guarantees to banks for third sector organizations as well. So they're partnering with them. Then the SERHub and specifically one of the partners, CGM Finance, is working with the European Investment Fund and the InvestEU facility. So the CGM Finance have signed contract with the EIF, which allows them, they became partner under the InvestEU Green Guarantee Facility. So now this CGM Finance, which is partnered in the SERHub, can provide guarantees to banks for such projects. They signed a 25 million euros guarantee partnership with the EIF. And because they're, as I told you, they're offering up to 80% guarantee on a loan basis. So they expect to generate around 31 million euros of guaranteed portfolio. Then there is those institutions in Italy which are called banking foundations. So these are foundations owned by commercial, by the biggest commercial banks. And these foundations, they have their social impact targets. So they have to support local communities, regional communities, social enterprises, and they have different types of guarantee products offered, sometimes on a very small scale, like offering guarantees for organizations that are working in these two towns. It goes in such a detail. And there are different types, of course, different types of banking foundations offering different types of guarantees. So some are direct guarantees, again, some are offering counter guarantees to other lenders. Usually for small scale projects, these are projects between 50 and 500,000 euros, rather short-term projects, but a lot of such guarantees exist. And then there is guarantee cooperatives, like mutual guaranteeing schemes in Italy. And the SER Hub is also partnering with these cooperatives, these mutual finance schemes. So there's plenty of de-risking instruments which the SER Hub is partnering with. And again, depending on the type of organization that wants to implement a social renovation project, they're selecting the most efficient type of guarantee to offer to the lenders. So that's why the banks are more prone to financing these projects. Now, when we were trying to replicate this scheme in Bulgaria, it wouldn't work because we don't have that many types of guarantee schemes. I mean, we have some, but it's nothing.
Interesting.
It's nothing to do in terms of scale. Now, the social environmental impact tool, which the Politecnico di Milano created, because the SER Hub, we have the Gini Finance, we have ENEA, they could develop and design tools to perform technical feasibility or financial feasibility, but there was a need for someone to design a tool which actually measures the social and environmental impact of those projects, because I started with it. They knew that there is a huge energy saving potential, there's huge investment potential, but there is also huge social impact potential, because these are buildings usually used by either local communities, young people, or vulnerable groups. So it's the Politecnico Milano. They designed this. I'm going to send you the tool. This tool is just an Excel spreadsheet, which is based on the methodology is based on the theory of change. They decided to go only 3-dimensional, so they're measuring outputs, which are the direct results of a project. So how much energy will be saved, how much money will be saved thanks to this. So can this money go back to the community? Stuff like direct effects. And then they're measuring different types of outcomes and impacts, which are more distantly related effects of the project. That's pretty much how this tool looks like. So it's measuring. It's based on 3 basic pillars: so environmental impact, organizational impact, and communal impact on the local community. And then they're measuring 5 different categories of indicators. So for the environmental impact assessment, of course, these are the most common indicators. So savings of CO2 emissions, indoor air quality, things like this. Then for the organizational pillar, they're measuring the economic effects of the project. So how much money will be saved, how much of this money will be invested back into the budget of the third sector organization that owns the building, how many new types of services will be offered to the community, how many new jobs will be created, stuff like this. So then they're measuring the impact on the community. So are there new beneficiaries that will be attracted thanks to this renovation project? To what extent this renovation project is improving the sense of belonging in the community to the beneficiaries? How is the well-being of the beneficiaries improving thanks to this project? And then they're measuring also. They're trying to measure how is the awareness of the benefits of energy efficiency is being improved by this project. So the methodology which the Politecnico di Milano created requires to fill out this tool. It requires, of course, studying of the technical aspects of the project, so studying the energy efficiency indicators, the environmental indicators, but also requires interviewing the local community and the beneficiaries and also the volunteers or the employees of the. So it's not an easy task to do this social environmental impact assessment. So they require each project, which is funded under the SEP, the SER hub, is actually required to perform this social environmental impact assessment ex ante and ex post, so that they can actually see if the expected impacts have been achieved in the end of the project. So as I already told you, in Italy, there's a good initial pipeline thanks to the Fratello Sole buildings. They had 215, I was correct, with the number of buildings in their portfolio. So some buildings were pre-selected and they were screened through the Service for Impact app for to do the pre-feasibility, the technical pre-feasibility, and 20 some buildings were actually selected to undergo detailed energy audits and to structure a financial plan. And then 10 of those buildings have already been renovated as we speak today. And 3 of those buildings have performed already the ex post social impact assessment. So now, as I was telling you before, now because the project is coming to this, the SERP project is coming to an end, the SERP hub started expanding its network. They have signed this contract with Monte dei Paschi di Siena Foundation. So Monte dei Paschi is one of the oldest banks in the world. But they have this foundation which is setting aside 600,000 euros so that another 50 projects can be screened. And out of these, 25 projects will receive technical support in terms of detailed energy audit and social and financial feasibility analysis. And eventually 10 of those projects will receive the full support to structure the financing, to access the financing, and get it implemented. Now, these are some of the buildings that have been renovated. So this is in Pavia, 2 buildings which these are shelters for young and vulnerable people, mother-children care centers, or some is a house for elderly. These are the works that have been performed. So improvement in the lighting fixtures, thermal insulation, energy efficiency work generally. So installation of some solar panels, overall of the electrical system of each of those buildings. So one of them went from yellow to green, so from C to A, and the other from orange to green. So from actually it went from E to B. Now this is a project which is I wouldn't call it a renovation. This is a medical facility. It's for hematological patients and their families. Some apartments. The existing building has been fully demolished. Actually, a new building was constructed as part of the project. Of course, in full compliance with the highest energy standards in Italy. So 60% of the energy supply comes from renewables, and the new building has the highest energy class in the scale of Italy, this A4. Now there is another. It was a farm, a social farmhouse around Milano, in the region of Milan. Again, it underwent standard renovation, so lighting, thermal insulation, some PVs on the rooftop, overhaul of the electric system, and it's just frankly 4 scales. So from E, it went all the way to A1.
What is a social farmhouse?
I have no idea.
Sorry.
But are these old buildings? I mean, historical buildings?
These are, yeah, I think this is an old building for sure. It's just this one was an old, but was demolished and rebuilt.
Yes, but in Italy, there are many historical buildings.
Yeah.
With several hundred years old, so how they deal with
Thermal
this?
insulation.
Exactly,
Well,
because we have problems.
yeah. Out the street, but I don't know. No, this is old, but not of historical value.
First
Yeah,
first of all,
obviously.
insulation is very thin, so it's a difference. It's not 18 centimeters, maybe
No, they don't need. Yeah, of
8
course.
or something. So
And
it's
in some instances,
still-
maybe it's an internal insulation, not external wall insulation.
And the renovation, I heard, like, for example, in Siena, these buildings are over 500 years old. They don't have even water pipelines, and it's very difficult to
To
renovate
the,
them.
to the
And
renovation.
there are still restrictions, so I
Oh, yeah,
wonder
because you
how they
cannot
deal
change the
with this.
facade. Yeah. You have to keep the facade of. I would assume no. This is just a farmhouse. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, in
keeps some,
Italy, it's difficult to say if it's just
Yeah,
old or
everything is very
very
well,
old.
this is new for sure. This the Center for Hematological Patients is brand new, but it's yeah. I guess it's very hard to renovate, especially in the towns. Yeah, where most of the buildings can be subject to historical or architectural heritage standards. That's a good question to ask our Italian partners, by the way, to see how it works. And yeah, these are the results of those 5 buildings that we saw. Because the farmhouse consists of 2 buildings actually, and in some instances it is really impressive to see how the energy consumption per square meter went. I cannot believe this one, to be honest. The 4th one from 270 kilowatt hours to 8.1.
Maybe that's the one that was demolished.
No. This is
No.
the farmhouse. This is
Okay.
or the existing building was super old and totally inefficient. But on average, the energy consumption of these buildings was reduced by 65% and 62% greenhouse gas emission reductions was achieved. These are the energy labels of one of the buildings. It's probably the first one. Yeah, the first one in Pavia. So from class C, it went to class A2. I mean, to be honest, yeah, Italy is a very specific case, because I thought that only in Eastern Europe, where we have very old Soviet era buildings, achieving 50% energy savings or more is possible, but obviously in Italy is also possible. Well, now this is something that the key the core the core Serhub partners actually developed. It's called the Replication Toolkit, and it's more of a guideline which helped us and Secure Catholic in France try and replicate the program. We can also, I think, share this with you guys if you want to. There are some tools, of course, as I mentioned. There is the social impact tool, assessment tool. There is the service for impact tool that was created, but it's more like a guideline. So they are guiding the replicating partners through different phases of the project, starting from how to evaluate the market, perform market analysis, how to identify the market potential, the overall market potential, how to identify the existing technical potential, how to translate it into financial potential, how to screen the market for potential legal or other barriers, then how to set up legally and organizationally, how to set up a Serhub or a one-stop shop that is mocking the said hub structure. Then how to identify and build a pipeline of buildings, how to structure an engagement plan, and then they're providing those three tools. We used it to certain extent. We kind of modified some of the standard contracts that they have developed in Italy. Of course, not all of those tools could be used in Bulgaria, but they're available, and if you're interested, I can share those with you. This is the guidelines. And now a couple of words of what we did in Bulgaria in terms of replication efforts. So unlike Italy, in Bulgaria, the social services are being offered in most of the cases by the municipalities. So we don't have this heritage of having foundations or cooperatives or associations that are targeting vulnerable groups of the society and provide them with some social services. So this is all being handled, except for some cultural activities, is being handled by the municipalities. So we had to deal with this fact. So we couldn't perform a financial analysis of the third sector per se, because it doesn't offer the social services we are looking for. Another problem was there is no dedicated registry in Bulgaria from which you can source information about how many buildings are serving social purposes, be it residential or cultural or sports or healthcare. There is no such information. So we employed a methodology, basically looking into every database that exists in the country. So we had to look into the long-term renovation strategy of the country. We had to look into a project I used to work on in Bulgaria with the EIB, which was for the development of the National Decarbonization Fund. And we were looking into the Bulgarian Sustainable Energy Development Agency database also, but it's really hard to figure out which building actually belongs to some sort of social service provision. So at the end of the day, we could identify slightly over 6,000 buildings that are serving some sort of social purpose. Most of these were either sport facilities or culture and art buildings, and to a lesser extent, dormitories, buildings that provide social housing. That's because I don't know, it's pretty much probably the case here in Poland. In Bulgaria, even the socially weak people have their own dwellings. We have like 90% of property ownership. So there is no need, which is not the case in Italy. So in Italy, there is need for a lot of social housing, for example. In Bulgaria, even those that need social support, they live in their own homes. So that's why those social buildings are mostly sport halls or cultural buildings. As I mentioned, it's mostly municipality-owned buildings, except for we have these institutions. They're called chitalište. I cannot translate. Chitalište means the place to read. Yeah, exactly. So it means a place to read, yes, but also these are those that's from the Ottoman Empire times, where the people got together to do some traditional Bulgarian stuff. So where people preserve their cultural identity. There is dancing, singing, sewing, I don't know what, painting. So this is the yeah, exactly. Cultural, and these are unique structures owned by the, I mean, unique for Bulgaria, owned by the communities, by the local communities. But this is the only type of social buildings that we have, not owned by municipalities. Everything else is owned by the municipalities. So it's about the problem here is if you look into the graph, most of these buildings that have something to do with social services have been built in the 60s and in the 70s. So of course they are not in great energy shape, unfortunately. So we figured out that apart from being in very poor energy condition, I mean, they're generally in very poor structural condition. So these 5 million square meters of floor area would require around 600 million euros. And these are numbers that are taken from the long-term renovation strategy, meaning 2 years, 3 years ago. So, after the inflation, this will probably be closer to 1 billion euros that will be needed to refurbish those buildings. But these are not generally attractive projects because the average payback, the simple average payback is over 13 years. So you cannot attract a lot of commercial lenders. My colleagues Kirill and Denisa made a mapping of potentially eligible sources. I'm pretty sure that most of these are also available in Poland, like the operational EU programs, the Recovery and Resilience Facility, and of course, some are very specific for Bulgaria, but I'm pretty sure that because the social buildings will have to compete with all the buildings. So these the sources that are outlined here will be providing renovation money for all types of buildings, from residential to public, including commercial and business. So the competition will be great. We'll need to involve some social impact investors. Now we did a lot of legal analysis in trying to replicate the concept. So of course, we had to analyze how the NGOs are organized in Bulgaria. How can they make decisions? How can they eventually borrow money? Then we analyzed the legal framework, which is related to setting up a one-stop shop in Bulgaria. We also did analysis of potential crowdfunding, because I told you that crowdfunding is also used by the SERHAP. So how does it work in Bulgaria? It turned out that in Bulgaria we don't have any specific legislation, so no formal regulation on the crowdfunding. We only resort on the crowdfunding directive of the European Union. So what we did, we started working out with several municipalities. We work with several municipalities under different types of projects. So we started looking into cooperating with some of them to identify potentially eligible buildings and try and test the SER approach. So these are the buildings, the cultural buildings of one of the municipalities we are working with. It's called Pernik, just next to Sofia, a medium-sized town. So they have obviously plenty of like 30 buildings, mostly cultural buildings in their possession. But
what was in euro, the cost?
What?
The cost in euro, what was that? Because
it's where? Look.
Last slide. Yes, here.
Here. Well, this is the expected, because all these buildings, they have already energy audits performed on them. So the numbers are coming from the energy audits. Yeah, it's in Bulgarian. Yeah, it's in Bulgarian. So pretty much €1 costs 2 Bulgarian lev. So yeah, for this, the second building, for example, it's 1 million leva. It means 500,000 euro investment cost. But as you can see, some of the buildings don't offer really lucrative payback. Some of the buildings do very well in terms of economy, but others, like you see, there's 5 paybacks of 19 years, 16 years. And this is not financially viable projects.
for sure. So we took all those energy audits. We used them as feasibility. So we didn't use the Italian pre-feasibility model. We used directly the energy audit reports that we already had. Then we performed financial and risk analysis of those projects based on the red screen software. I don't know if you're familiar with it. At Econoler, we are using it quite extensively, probably because it's Canadian. Software is very good. It's very good for. It is a tool that actually allows you to perform technical and financial analysis of renovation and renewable energy projects. And then we performed the impact assessment of some selected projects using the SER impact assessment tool. So I'll just show you a couple of projects that we could identify, and then we can close it and eventually have a short discussion. So these are buildings provided by another municipality. This is actually it happened to be my hometown municipality. It's called Blagoevgrad. So they offered us some of their buildings which are due for renovation. This has been painted but not renovated. I mean, it looks kind of renovated, but it's not. This is a home for elderly people next to my hometown. And the energy audit report prescribes again a very standard set of energy renovation measures, starting from thermal insulation on walls and roof. The rooftops in Bulgaria are a total disaster. I mean, the state of this building has been built probably in the 60s, and nobody took care. So you can imagine the state of the structure. So replacement of windows, lighting retrofit, installation of some solar PV panels on the rooftop.
Then for the scope like this, you can get payback time under 10 years.
Yeah, well, this one now this we took the information from the energy audit report, and we run the numbers through this red screen for the red screen software, which is that's free of charge. Actually, they're charging if you want. So yeah, it's the simple payback is it is 7.7 years here in this case.
Poland, you couldn't reach 15. It would be more.
Why is that so? Because the energy is super cheap, or because
investment is super
high?
Expensive, probably.
And why is that so? You're producing here energy insulation.
The more grants, the higher
prices go up. Yeah, because you're producing most of the insulation in Bulgaria comes from Poland, for example.
By somewhere else.
No, but by the way, this is a huge problem in Bulgaria. I mean, we're constantly talking about the renovation waves and these big programs, but when it comes to implementation, actually, who's going to do it? This is the first question. We don't have people to do the works. And yeah, then when you have little supply and a lot of demand, the prices go up. That's normal. So nobody's
because the West is West and East stays.
Yeah.
East.
But I mean, did you see coming back of a lot of workers from the West to Poland? Polish workers, yes.
Some.
Yeah, I think that was because in Bulgaria, I mean, in some sectors we see this, but I thought in Poland it was more massive. At some point, just the standard of living increased in Poland. So now people are coming back while working in England and living in a small, I don't know, like a one room.
Yes.
And not living in your home.
This is the situation that we also have a lot of Ukrainians working.
Aha. Okay, that's yeah. And they're working in construction in
Yes.
Yeah, but also from other countries.
Yes, from other countries as well.
Outside of the European.
Yes.
In the construction.
Yeah.
Because Ukrainians you get everywhere. You probably do not recognize nice, like when you go to a shop or whatever.
You can, no, I recognize by the language at least, but it's the same in Bulgaria. We go to a lesser, maybe, I don't know, like 300,000-400,000 people remain in Bulgaria. But these are mostly like freelancers, like
Yeah, I
myself.
mean, what I was supposed to say that they will come back someday.
Hopefully soon, yeah, when
Hopefully
the world
soon,
is
yes.
over, yeah, you lose this workforce as well. No, that's again in Bulgaria. It's a huge issue because it took there was a big program which was sponsored by the government, and they had to renovate 2,000 residential buildings, like the Soviet, mostly the Soviet type blocks of flats, and it took like 4 years to renovate. There were some companies that could actually implement
2,000?
2,000 only, yeah.
Yeah, millions in our program.
Millions of buildings,
Millions of
of square meters maybe,
flats
of flats.
in
All right, yeah, that's a lot.
multi-family building.
That's a lot. Yeah. Now in Bulgaria we have like something like 70,000 multi-family buildings. But only 2,000 of these with 100% grant, so the money was secured. Oh, good. It took like 4 years. So it's not going to work like this. And then another problem that we're facing in Bulgaria is the lack of energy auditors also. It's like those who are certified, this process started like 25, 30 years ago, the first certified energy auditors. So most of these people are now exiting the workforce, they're going into retirement, and there's no new certified auditors, so very few. So every time we have a program funded by European Union money, so there's a rush towards the auditing firms, and then the quality of energy audits, they have, because it is a window of opportunity. You have like 3 months or 6 months to apply for the grant, and you need an energy audit, and it's 1,000 buildings, either public or residential. So the quality is just copy paste.
Yes, but the auditors are certified.
They are, yes, it's a
Because in
certified.
Poland, there is not,
You don't have a certification scheme.
it's not obligation.
Okay.
We had, but one day somebody say that everybody
That's
can.
maybe the better
I
option.
don't know, because basically everybody, like,
Even
tomorrow,
a lesson
can be.
after a course can be.
Yeah, you have to go through a course.
Yeah, we have the association of auditors and so on.
Yeah.
But now almost everybody can. I mean,
But you have to be an
some course or
engineer.
whatever.
I think.
No.
I don't-
For example.
So I can become.
Yes, I got a question from a beneficiary for the huge program, a clean air program for single family houses. And the owner of the house asked in the email, can I make myself an energy audit?
Why not?
And I consulted this with this department, and they said basically yes.
There's no
If
limitation
you-
whatsoever.
Yes, only you will not get refund because the same person cannot.
It's a conflict of interest.
Yes, give the invoice for the work and get the refund. But
But your
basically,
brother, why not?
Yeah. For a cousin. with
so
different
of
name,
course there are some restrictions, but the answer.
Welcome to Poland.
No, come on.
So
I'm not coming from.
even I
Switzerland.
thought it very strange to answer.
That's strange. But, okay, but some agency has, or I don't know, a ministry has to control the quality at least. I mean, in Bulgaria we have it, but it's formal. But at least there is the Sustainable Energy Agency, which receives all the energy audit reports. Of course, they cannot control because there's like 20 people there, and there's thousands of reports. But there is a form, and here, if I issue an energy audit, do I have to send it somewhere to a ministry or to KAPE or no?
Now, only this certifications, what is it called?
The energy
certificates
Energy
are
performance.
checked, performance
Certificate.
certificates are, some samples are checked by the ministry, I suppose.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's now obligatory, at least in Bulgaria, but I guess here now, buildings that started after the 1st of January 2024, upon completion, they should meet I think class A.
Like 80 kilowatt hours per meter?
80.
Wybudowane teraz.
So who's going to check? And if they don't meet, if they don't meet this energy
in the
performance, they
program-
cannot be entered into operation. And someone has, so in Bulgaria, you have to submit this energy performance certificate to the, it's called SEDA, the Sustainable Energy Development Agency, but of course, nobody's.
Yeah, it's true, but it's the certificate is one thing, and the person who prepares it is another person.
Anyone can.
So you have to have, but almost anybody.
But that's good. That's free market.
Yeah, what's the idea?
To
Just not to have a restriction to the market, but
maybe it should be done.
so maybe we can do it for
engineers.
everything, for pilots, for instance.
Yeah, that's for doctors.
Yeah,
Why
lawyers especially.
why would you go to a university and spend 5-6 years? You want to be a lawyer, right? Go and be one. So yeah, this is the financial analysis that we did using this red screen tool. So it's a graph that shows how the cash flow goes. So pretty much in year 6 here, we have a cash positive now, cash positive project, and it has this simple payback of 7.7 and a good IRR.
Inflation rate and the cost of
Well,
finance.
yeah, we simulate a structure of lending. So we say, okay, we expect that inflation rate will be 2% over the period of 20 years. And then the project life will be 20 years.
You
The
have
life,
6% for that.
the interest rate
Yeah.
of the loan. And
We got one project yesterday, it was 10.4.
because it's in zloty.
No, I mean 10.4 interest rate, EI.
In zloty. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what the money market in Poland is, but what is the interest rate on deposit, for example, if I put in zloty?
4%.
High. Something like that.
Okay, so 10% for a loan is
So,
fair.
but in other words, it's 10.4 means that it's the base is 5-6% and the margin is something like
Yeah. Nice, it's not that bad then. So,
yeah, but if you have the payback in 15 years and then get
oh,
this
and
and so on and so
yeah,
on.
of course, yeah. Oh, I mean, the payback will not change, but the cash flow will remain negative because I mean the payback, when you calculate the payback, it doesn't account for the interest payments, so it's all the same.
But I mean, it's simple payback.
It's simple payback.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean the payback from the project.
Yeah, the financial payback, then it will of course negatively be impacted. But in this case, well, I guess in Bulgaria, because it's a municipality, so they can get quite lower interest rate. Probably they can get funded at 4%. I don't know. This is an absurd situation in Bulgaria nowadays. I mean, nowadays over the past 2-3 years, but probably we have the lowest interest rates on loans across the whole of the European Union. It's amazing, but it's the fact. Be it in euro or in Bulgarian lev, we get mortgages at 3% annual now. And in Germany and no, they pay 5 or 6% in euro. I think it's because of the excessive liquidity of the Bulgarian banks, so they're not paying deposit rates. So generally they get the funding at 0 or very close to 0. And that's why, but we tested it with 6% and it still works well with 6% interest rate. Then we're performing some sensitivity analysis, again, using this red screen software. So here we decided to check how the equity payback will change of this project if we change the initial costs and the interest rate of the loan. If we change it by 25% plus and minus. And we said, okay, we want to see those scenarios which will keep us with a simple payback of less than 7 years. So it is obvious that if the investment cost increases by 12.5 or 25%, that's how this tool is showing the interest analysis, the sensitivity analysis. So if the investment cost goes up, in any case, even if the interest rate goes down, the payback period will exceed 7 years. This is just to demonstrate that this tool allows us to test different scenarios and see which is the indicator, the project indicator, which impacts the financial performance the most. Of course, the cost, the investment cost will be the indicator that is most impactful in this case. Then we perform this the social impact analysis of this project, of course, without interviewing the local communities. It was based on our understanding how it will work. We compared when calculating the energy and environmental impact. We just used the whole database that we have. We have like 30 energy audits, and we compare this specific project against the expected performance of the rest. So that's how we ranked it. This project is not generating beautiful energy savings. I mean, it has a good value for the money. It generates enough savings to pay back within 7 or 8 years. But it's not. I mean, there's more impactful projects in our pipeline when it comes to energy savings. And then we did some analysis. Okay, how many new jobs will be created thanks to this project? So we said, okay, there will be some solar panels which will be installed. So there will be a need for someone to go and do the maintenance. So maybe it will be a medium impact project in that case. In terms of engagement in the community, it won't be a huge impact because this is a municipality-owned building. So it's the municipality that decides which of the project outputs to be shared with the community and which not. Then there will be no new beneficiaries because it's a home for elderly. It has its capacity, and there will be no new people inside. So and then thanks to this social impact tool, when you do the analysis, it spits out this spider map, and it's obvious that the project will contribute greatly to the well-being of the workers and the employees and the beneficiaries because it will substitute gasoline, diesel generator with electric heat pump. So the air quality will improve, but not much will be done for stakeholder engagement. Example. And then there is other case studies, but I don't think we need to focus that much on those. So that's pretty much what we did in Bulgaria in terms of replication. I don't know how replicable would this be in Poland in terms of which are the organizations that carry out social services in Poland? Is it the municipalities, or you also have a lot of foundations, associations, charity? I don't know.
Well, mostly municipalities, all the Dom Kultury are owned by the municipalities. Yes.
So it will be the same like Bulgaria.
Because which You mean foundations and
Some NGOs, I don't know.
but I'm not sure because we had this conversation when, thinking about whom to ask today and what kind of audience. And we have difficulties to find such because there are some foundations, but we were not sure whether they own buildings or they rent or.
So it's most of the municipalities.
Yes, there are, to my knowledge, there are some elderly houses, private elderly.
These are private, yeah. But I guess when it's a private entity, their buildings will be efficient already. It's not like the public one. And if the municipalities want to upgrade their social buildings, do they have to, from the first source of money is the EU programs, right?
Not they use the subsidies, yes, because that's why the facilitator, PPC facilitator, we have created PPC facilitators, because municipalities are public institutions.
Yeah.
They are under public procurement law. So.
But they can tap into the EU money, the European Union, the cohesion funds, operational programs.
Of course.
And the other sources, and when you connect them with the ESCOs, is there any legal limitation? Like, they have to do a procurement?
Yes.
And that's it.
That's all.
Because in Bulgaria, I think they improved this, but according to the legislation, the municipalities have very strict restrictions in terms of debt service that they can do annually. So, and they can, and the escort to a certain moment was considered an obligation also, but now it's not. So the escort contracts, the municipality could not do a lot of escort contracts because it would have exceeded the threshold.
Yeah, but it's not here. We have special regulations to avoid it.
Yeah.
If
No,
it says,
if it's an ESCO,
if it's EPC contract, it doesn't matter if it's ESCO because the contract is
energy performance
important,
based.
Yes.
Yeah.
and there are some risk divided and so on. And it's not in there.
As I said in beginning of our meeting, the proceeding in EPC are performed by public procurement law. So in Poland, we have in EPC, there is no limit time to the contract. So it depends on effective financial effective the contract.
All right. And then how do they compete? The companies. So the municipality, when they issue the public tender, the municipality says, I have this building, social or not, and I want a renovation. And then the EPC companies or the contractors, are they competing based on a concept? So one can say, I will generate more savings, it will cost more money, or you're just creating a framework saying, I want 500 windows replaced, I want insulation, you just give me a price offer.
It doesn't work. So this is why we have facilitator EC and we have some commercial activity as well, just to prepare some place. And then there is some flexibility for ESCO companies to propose solutions because in the case you said, it's impossible.
Maybe a competition of concept, yeah.
And it's very difficult or impossible to use the procurement law just to award any company like that. Because it's we can have some not only the price, some other decision
Limitations. Because we have been considering this for the Bulgarian it's in our public procurement law. There's different types of procedures, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And there is one procedure which is called a competitive dialogue. That's it works, but sometimes it works, but it opens a lot of gaps, a lot of flaws in the procedure. And then this procedure can be appealed by the losing party. So there was one municipality we used to work with. They wanted to do like this competitive dialogue. So they can allow, they want to do ESCO, on ESCO basis, on EPC basis, they want to do renovation of their public lighting system in the municipal center in this town. And they said, okay, we are open to different different concepts. So let the ESCO companies come and offer us, and we'll choose the most technically and financially feasible based on the different
Yes,
concepts.
it's the same. It's the same in Polish public procurement law.
Here.
We have a dialogue, but a Polish procedure is divided between. It depends on costs of value of contract. So in the large contracts are based on dialogue, but small contracts we have some small types of negotiation, but it's still the same task to the same way to have a contract with in the tenders. So first of all, we have to in Poland we have to describe in tenders publications.
What is the scope?
Yes, and that is only one we can talk about during this procedure. Yes.
All right. And then the one-stop shop is actually helping the municipalities to structure their, I mean, are you, obviously you're helping them legally, or I assume that you're helping so they can structure their public procurement procedure in the best.
Technically.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I know that technically you help them. So yeah, and then you're helping them with the procedure itself.
Yeah, because the first phase is to prepare the project for the city, and they have to decide if they want to go forward or not.
Aha.
And
That's
then-
decided by the mayor or the
and the
or a city
treasurer-
council or
treasurer, it depends, it's bigger. And then you have the second phase when you prepare the public procurement.
yes,
process.
which is their part.
And then in case, I think that about, in case of competitive dialogue, you have the situation, for instance, that you will qualify 3 ESCO companies. And let's imagine that they say, we want to do this and we want something else and so on. And at the end, the community has to decide to prepare one document for everybody for offering, not different for every company.
Yes,
So you
yeah,
have
yeah,
to
yeah.
get all those technical solutions.
And you stay with the municipality during this process.
So this is why we cannot allow for this the
Competition of
discussion.
concepts, yeah.
So, yeah, on a high level, but we can say that maybe you can change something or
Okay,
you
so-
agree in choosing something.
Then you're using a concept and you're letting, everybody compete on this
And
concept
another
now,
point
yeah.
is that we have to show the city in this first phase what will be the effect, what will be the cost.
Yeah.
That they have to decide they are going.
And you're signing like an advisory contract with the
And
municipality.
it's of course on the procurement law as well, so we have to win it.
Ah.
Do you have company?
Exactly, who's the competition then?
For the moment, there's no competition.
It has to be a one-stop
Oh,
shop.
no, there is, we lost which.
Ah, so there is one. All right, yeah, that's
we one goes with.
Because it's the same situation as we said with these auditors, that you have.
but you're offering your services free of charge now under the project or no?
Well,
Not exactly.
Or they have to,
obviously, with some, because the LIFE project is less financed than Horizon 2020.
yes,
it's
yeah,
95%,
it's, yeah,
and only 7%
7% overheads, yeah.
yes. So we ask for some.
for some fees. And you have to go through a public procurement.
Anyway, yes.
You know,
Oh.
if we are offering more than 50%, we don't have to have public procurement
Yeah.
because we are financed. We have some commercial projects, so we are financed 100% by the communities.
Yeah. And then you're also structuring the contracts, which is probably part of the procedure, the EPC contract, which is part of that's what you do also for them.
Yes, we have, because we have to join procurement law, energy efficiency rules,
Yeah.
Energy Efficiency Act, and then some grant from National Fund, maybe.
Which has also some rules.
So well, they have a lot of rules, huh?
Overall.
Everyone.
And yeah, that's and once the contract between the EPC and the municipality is signed, what happens? You pull out, you say, okay, that was from us, or you still stay. with the
Sometimes
municipality?
It's an option, but
So this time we have no possibility to advise after signing the contract.
Legally not, but technically. it's
Legally, no.
Yes,
Legally,
yeah.
Proof, the savings.
Exactly. Who's doing the measurement and verification of savings? Is it you or?
because it depends. It's not so easy. One point is when you have a grant, it can be audit ex ante and ex post.
Yeah.
And guarantee for savings, it's between ESCO and community, and it depends on community. They can do it by themselves or some. So, but it's not the same to showing the rules connected with grant and with energy grant. Because National Fund, they don't want to get in this discussion on meters, metering and whatever. So it's quite
But they need to
understandable.
see that someone has verified the savings in the end.
That's why
Yeah.
the audit
In audit only.
ex post.
Ex post audits,
Yes, that's only.
that's additional money. But
Because the discussion is about final energy,
yes,
not about consumption.
so yeah, and there
So
has to be a
grant is-
second.
That
audit.
is for going down with final energy and some other factors. And EPC contract is on saving grant.
And I think that
What-
until there is no dispute between the municipality and the
And the
ESCO,
ESCO.
this is the ESCO that provides monitoring and verification.
Yes, yeah. They measure, I guess they sign some protocols in the end of every season or
Yeah.
once annually. That's, yeah, what kind of EPC are you using? Is it shared saving? Or is guaranteed savings type more?
It's share saving according to your regulations.
It's
So we
shared.
say it's over for ESCO.
Yeah.
But it's not the point. The main problem is in investment cost, I think, and the ESCO financing possibilities.
Yeah. But I mean, for really the investing in now has to open doors for ESCOs.
We have to investigate it somehow because it's the problem is of course that the banks probably say, yeah, we know it, but it's impossible because of something. But we try to discuss.
I know it's riskier, yeah, it's, but when they have this guarantee,
Well, apart from foreseen services for the municipalities within our project, we also have a work package on,
linking,
dissemination, linking. We have ESCO club to be established. We have
yeah,
trainings
Services.
to be performed.
for the banks or not? Or for the
Also,
ESCO?
Yeah, ESCO bands, everything. It's a lot of activities to boost the market.
Yeah.
Because if there will be still subsidies, we will not boost anything.
Yeah, that's the hugest problem, I think. These grants, they're really, it's good to have some grants, but
Grants for
not,
EPCs.
yeah, exactly.
But not 100%.
We're not using it,
grants.
yeah, no, that's, Right,
Because on the contrary, without grants, the EPC would be like 20 or 30 years. Yes.
But I mean, if we're using the grant money in a feasible way, we just slow down the expected payback, for example.
Yes.
But not to just spread the grants like this. So everybody's delaying. I'll just stop the Zoom.